I have some news for all the godmothers out there. I'm sure there's a few godfathers too.
And all the aunties, all the out louder aunties.
Exactly right. Of my twins. I am nearly 17 weeks and I had been waiting to get the other gender of the child, right? This is something a lot of us have learned together, is that when you try and find out the gender of your twins, they can tell you that there's a boy chromosome hanging out, but they can't tell you if they're both boys or if there's one boy or what's going on. But motherly intuition here. I was like, guys, I don't need the test. It's 2 boys. I'm having identical boys.
You've been saying that since the get-go.
Exactly. Yeah. I've never been more sure of anything. I told Luna, I said, your brothers are on their way. I have just been so attached to that as a fact. And then I knew I had this upcoming appointment and I was getting a scan. And I was like, at this stage, they can probably see what's what. And a couple of nights before, I have this really vivid dream that there's a little boy who's identical to Luca. And there's a little girl who's blonde with blue eyes who looks like Matilda, like Claire's daughter. And I woke up and I thought, oh, that's a bit weird that I had that dream. It must be my subconscious hedging my bets a bit, going, it still could be a girl and a boy. Anyway, I go to this appointment and he starts with twin A, who's a lower twin.
Is this the official language?
Yeah.
So when they're scanning them, they're like twin A, twin B?
Yes. And twin...
Should we read anything into who gets to be the A type and who gets to be the B type?
Twin A is the one who's looking like they're going to be the first twin to come out because they're closer to the
vagina.
Hatch. Yeah. Although I wonder, good question, Holly, with a C-section, I wonder if your twin A, twin B can get mixed up. Anyway, so twin A, we got a little penis. And I'm like, there we go, big tick.
There's a penis inside
There's a penis inside me.
Little boy.
I have one penis. And I was like, okay, now we're going to go to twin B. And they go up and they've got this great angle as though like sitting under a chair, like looking up. I'm like, that's so weird. I can't see a penis. And my obstetrician was like, that is a girl. Which means I am having girl-boy twins, which means they are not identical, which means that everything makes less sense.
Even less sense.
So
when you
That's
say
so
that,
confusing.
so I'm very excited. I think boy-girl twins are so interesting.
Yeah, I've become quite obsessed with boy-girl twins now.
Yeah.
And everyone's like, oh, thank God. It was going to be so weird having identical twins. And even like Luca.
Hold on a minute.
I'm one. My brother-in-law, everyone was like, yeah, you were going to have that weird identical twin shit. And I was like, what weird identical twin shit?
That is so funny. So the fact that they're fraternal.
Yes.
That means what? This isn't genetic? This is
No.
what does it like?
This
so
means
weird.
2 separate eggs fertilized at different times or whatever. They each have their own placenta.
So identical is one egg that's split into 2.
But the thing is, when they have their own placenta and stuff, it can still be that they just split a little bit.
Which is what
earlier,
we thought for you.
Which is what I was like, yeah, absolutely. They split early. That's why they're 2 boys. Like, guys, I don't need the tests. I have my intuition. This is why we have our tests.
Can I ask another stupid question? Are they in their own little bags?
Yes.
So they like have their own digs. They're not like they're not bumping into each other.
They're in their own little studio like me.
Oh,
Yeah. So it's like Em and her upstairs neighbour.
Yeah, exactly.
Is like that. But they're kind of head to toe at the moment. They're diagonal.
I'm so excited.
But I think sometimes they kick each other because I was watching them and I was like, I'm pretty sure they'd feel it.
Oh,
like,
they definitely would. They'd be bumping into each other.
Someone else is here. Are you going to do like hand-in-hand names like Jack and Jill?
Oh, yes.
Well, I was speaking to someone, my Out Louders might know.
Should they go together?
I lost my beautiful grandfather the other week and his name was Philip Hurtle, right? So he doesn't give us a lot to work with. And someone said, you should call them Hurtle and Myrtle. And I was like, the Out Louders would be so polite.
Is Hurtle a middle name?
Yeah.
Is that a name, Hurtle? No offense to all the Hurtles out there. I've never heard that name before.
It sounds like something in a children's book.
I know.
Hurtle and Myrtle is great.
Yeah. So if I do that, then the Out Louders will be like, so beautiful.
So nice for you.
We love it.
We love it for you and your family.
I'm so excited. Welcome to Mamamia Out Loud. It's what women are actually talking about on Friday, the 7th of November. And I am Holly Wainwright.
I'm Em Vernem.
And I'm Jessie Stevens.
And on our agenda for today, Charlie makes a living out of her 500,000 YouTube subscribers. She's traveling the world, getting offered big deals. But in 1 month's time, she can't do that from here anymore because she's 14. Welcome to the Aussie families leaving the country because of the social media ban.
Plus, there are 2 new types of rituals. They're having a moment right now. These 2 are very different from each other and they both deeply upset me.
And why don't married people talk about sex anymore? Does it feel immature? Is it too intimate? Writer Natasha Scholl has some theories.
Now, I love a story that I don't really know how I feel about. And this is one of those, right? In 1 month's time, Australia is making history around the world by banning social media for under 16s. Now, to be clear, I do know how I feel about that. I am a big fan. Big fan. Woot. Gets that. I can just say to my kids now, that's illegal. Put it down or you're going to prison. Really looking forward to outsourcing.
What's your gut feel on the social media ban, just out of curiosity?
So it was kind of out of my world because I don't know any young people. I don't have any young people in my life. I don't follow any young people on socials. I didn't like it.
Why?
Because I remember when I was young, the social media, especially Snapchat, was the way I maintained friendships.
Yeah, right.
And now these kids are going to have no friends, no phones.
Yeah, but when I was 12, I could buy ciggies in the shop.
And then we evolved, Hol.
Exactly. So I think one day we might look at your 14-year-old Snapchat and go, that was weird. Anyway, so I know how I feel about that, although I know there are many feelings about it and lots of experts don't agree. But this story confuses me a bit. We published this piece on Mamamia this week. It was an interview by Ailish Delaney. She did an interview with this Australian YouTuber family and it went nuts. More than 100,000 views. Everybody was reading this story. They are called the Empire family, right? They're a family of 4, Beck and Beck, who are 2 mums with the same name. Love that. Beck and Beck have a son called Presley and a daughter called Charlotte, who they all refer to as Charlie. And the 4 of them, as the Empire family, have almost 2 million followers together. And individually, Charlie has almost 500,000 on YouTube, plus she's on TikTok and Instagram and all the other places. Now, to be crystal clear, there's nothing inappropriate about what the Empire family do on YouTube. It's like what would have become known as very sort of typical family vlogger stuff. They go on holiday and they share their tips. Charlie does room tours. They do swimwear fashion. They do hauls, and they do lots and lots of sponcon, right? Very standard. So Charlie's getting dressed for Halloween. She's giving you a tour of her wardrobe. She's doing Get Ready With Me, all stuff that a lot of teenagers I know do all the time for free. But Charlie does not, because she's making good money with the content. The thing is, of course, from December the 10th, most major social media platforms must take reasonable steps, this is the language that the government has kind of used, to prevent Australians under the age of 16 from having accounts. And that means that they need to find and deactivate existing accounts held by under 16s, right? And also prevent them from opening new ones. So that suddenly means that although the Empire family as an entity is safe, Charlie's account in particular is not. So the Empire family are leaving the country. They are moving to London from Perth, effective immediately. They said to Ailish from Mamamia when they were doing the interview, Beck said that they'd been skeptical too about putting their kids on YouTube, but they were very strict about what they were and weren't allowed to put on there. They edited the content. They managed all the deals. And now, as a family, they've been flown around the world all the time. They're getting offers to have big money deals. Charlie has her own Amazon shop front. This is big money. And although in theory they can see why the social media ban is being encouraged, they don't think it's going to work and they're leaving. They're not the only ones. There's another massive Australian YouTuber family called Norris Nuts. They're from Newcastle, although recently they moved to Bondi where they bought a $15 million house, which I think illustrates how well they're doing. There are 6 kids in that family. So they've been doing this for a long time, more than a decade. Brooke and Justin Norris, he's a former Olympic swimmer, and they've got 6 kids. They have, again, their content's very sort of wholesome, but all the kids are characters in it. They've got a massive fortune, and they've been talking lately. They've recently moved from Newcastle to Bondi, but they've been posting lately about whether or not they might move to America. What do we think? The reason that this plays with my mind a bit is I'm kind of can't you all just wait till your kids are 16 to do what you do? But then I also think that there's a small cohort of professional kids. There always has been, right? Whether that is sports people, well, that's less professional and more, but performing at an elite level. Whether that might be sports kids, whether that's performers whose families have moved so that their kid can pursue their dream. Is this that different? Are kid influencers just the new child stars, and we're just seeing families making their decisions based on that?
Yeah, I wondered this too. My first instinct with this was, wouldn't it be great if Charlie's account could be frozen for a few years? Because anyone who has grown a social media account knows that a lot of hours and a lot of work have gone into that. Didn't happen overnight to get you 500,000 followers, and that's quite substantial and it's lucrative, right? And part of me is like, what's the rush? Let's just pause it now.
But then she'll lose followers.
Well, if you were to deactivate an account temporarily, freeze it, keep all the followers there, and then can she log back on her 16th birthday? That was what I was thinking. But the government has said we can't promise that. Yeah, we can't, like, in terms of the tech. And this is what I keep coming back to with this social media ban, is that it is as are just about most laws, utilitarian. This is about the greatest good for the greatest amount of people. And there are going to be some people who this is not ideal for. And the earning capacity of a 14-year-old is not something that I think competes with the dangers and the damage that social media is doing. Because I was even thinking, I went, how long has she been doing this? And it went back about 3 years. So at about 11, she started the account, and all power to you. You do you. But she wouldn't be allowed to work in a cafe at 11 and make money. Of course, your point is valid, Holly, that she could be in an advertisement. She could be in Annie.
Yes. She could be, a child actor on any number of professional sets.
The thing about those sets, and that has come into play thanks to, workplace laws and everything in Australia being stricter and stricter, but there are very clear laws.
What these kids are creating with their families is content that people enjoy and engage with. And whatever you personally might think about it, like kind of, the inanity in a way of a teenager showing you around their room. And I don't say that as a criticism of Charlie. I live with a teenager. I know how inane it is when she's showing me around her wardrobe. But whatever your personal viewpoint about that is, this is basically people creating content that people want to watch that is basically now, as we know, just like a TV show or a movie or a musical. People are watching YouTube instead of watching Lego Masters, or you know what I mean?
Yeah. I know. And that's where I think that it gets confusing.
I just think with the whole ban in itself, for me, because what I did when I heard this story was I try to find all the loopholes, because I know every kid will just be finding loopholes, and kids are really smart, so they will find a way to be on tech. And it just sounded like to me that, yes, social media seems like a very harmful place for kids right now. And in doing that, it's like we're punishing the kids by taking it away from them, when that's the one thing that they had to connect with people. And even with Charlie, even though she has to move, she's moving overseas for her job, she still has to start again in a way, because she's also losing all of her followers, because all of her followers will be having their accounts taken from them as well.
If they're children.
Which they most likely are.
Yeah, except it's not becoming illegal for kids under the age of 16 to watch YouTube. That is not what's happening. It's become illegal for them to have their own accounts. But they can watch the family account. Like, they can watch my account, their sister's account, anything. They just can't have their own account.
But wouldn't you want your own? It's, for example, Netflix, and we all have our own accounts on Netflix. I get so frustrated when my mum uses my account because she throws my algorithm all over.
Yes.
So suddenly your For You looks very different.
I had to think about this, right? Because I went, all right, if we're banning accounts, but we're not banning the viewing of the content, what's the difference? And the difference is that you can't tailor an algorithm to a child. You can't advertise to a child directly. Yes, there are still going to be ads and stuff, but we're not data mining on an 11-year-old and then radicalizing them with a feed that just gives them more and more stuff that can lead them down a rabbit hole. And we all know, all of us who have deleted the apps off our phone and had to look at it via a browser for a day.
Mm-hmm.
You spend no time because it's boring. It's really boring, right?
Yeah.
So even YouTube, you don't go down those kind of, you just don't fall down rabbit holes in the same way.
I think it makes, that's why I think it's clever, is I think that YouTube has become a platform that people will watch, but having your own account that's for you when you're under 16, as you say, allows all kinds of data to be captured on you, advertising to be tailored
and you
to
can't
So-
comment. And this is the whole thing as well, is a lot of advocates have come out and said, especially advocates who have lost children to bullying via social media, and they have said, if people under 16 couldn't have accounts, then my daughter wouldn't have been this ruthlessly bullied. So I think that's fair. But your point, Em, about whether the audience is going to be compromised, I think is interesting. I wondered this about the Norris Nuts family as well. The viewing time goes down because kids don't have their own accounts anymore. Then you'd be panicking.
Because mum's going, what are you watching? Why are you watching that girl taking you around her wardrobe? Why are you watching those kids race to get out of the house first? That looks really silly. And Mum, you don't get it.
The other loophole is that Beck and Beck, Charlie's parents, they can still have their account and they can feature Charlie as much as they like.
It is really interesting. As I say, I'm a big supporter of the ban, but I also think that I don't actually think there's anything wrong with what these families are doing. And in some ways, it's kind of sad that they're moving away. But then I also think maybe that's just a decision you have to make, as you say, Jessie, for the greater good, really.
Married sex needs a rebrand. This is according to writer Natasha Scholl, who wrote for The Guardian last week and posed the question, sex talk isn't off limits when we're with friends who are single, dating, or in new relationships. So why is mentioning anything about sex in long-term relationships kind of cringe? While people in long-term relationships dissect lots of intimate, private, personal things, if you think about in-laws, work, parenting, health, money, for some reason, at a certain point, sex stops coming.
100% it does.
Scholl says even the term married sex makes her wince, but she'd much rather hear about you getting railed on your kitchen bench than your new granite bench top. I'd like to hear about both.
Oh dear.
Where'd you get the granite
funny.
bench top? This I found to be shockingly true. Em,
I wonder what the actual point. Anyway, sorry.
Em, why do you think this is?
I was thinking about this because my friendship group is split in half, where half of us are single and half of us are in relationships, and we're all in our late 20s, early 30s. And I've noticed that it's up to the single people in the group to talk about sex.
To bring the sex
content.
It's because the married people don't want to bore you to death.
And the married people are like studying that. And you can see like the brain cogs going in their heads going, okay, I need to do this, this, and this. And I think it comes down to, and I've noticed this with myself as well, when I'm dating and I know I'm dating someone casually versus serious, depending on how I want to talk about our sex lives. If I'm dating a guy and I know it's going to be super, super casual, I'm way more open talking about all the intricate details of sex with family, friends, probably not family, friends, you guys, the podcast. If I'm dating the wider world. If I'm dating someone and I'm like, oh, there could be something here, I didn't say anything.
Yeah. And why do you think that is?
I think because when it comes to sex in relationships, sex is the only thing that's just for the two of you. And then the minute you open the door to that, you're letting in so much feedback from people, whether that's actually been said or not. I have a friend who I've been friends with since primary school, and she's been with her partner for 12 years now. They started dating in high school. They just recently got married. Every time I see him, I still think about the weird sex thing he did when he was 17.
Yes.
Every single time.
You're right, though, is there a point in relationships where feedback is not welcome anymore? So the whole, like, if you've just started dating a guy and you say, so he really likes doing X, Y, Z, and your friends are like, red flag, or your friends are like, ooh, no, that's weird, or whatever. Like, there's a point in relationships where this is not up for negotiation anymore. We're not open. It's like baby names.
Yeah.
It's like you can't tell people, because if they go, ooh, you're like, that's my life partner you're talking about there. I don't know. Is there a point where you just close the door on feedback?
Yeah, because then in your head, when you're with that person, there are so many rules of what people think you should be doing and what you shouldn't be doing. And then you end up like having sex with this person with like 4 of your friends also in the room.
Yes. And is
Not
there...
literally.
Not literally.
Probably.
Yeah, some people are into that.
No judgment.
I think there's also security in going, if I'm enjoying it and they're enjoying it, then that's just our business.
Yeah.
Right? And once you sit down and you talk about everyone's sex life, and there are elements that still come up, right? Like with my friends, how many times a week? If you have had a baby, really people are very interested in how long it took you to have sex again. And then when you had sex again, did you feel like having sex? Did it hurt? Do they talk about the position you had sex in? No. Do they talk about like the ins and outs? No. It is just like almost like
clinical.
It's quite clinical, right? But I wonder if we all sat there and talked about the like real details of it, if that would invite comparison, and if comparison can be corrosive in a long-term relationship. Because I've started to think, I think when I was really young, I thought, yeah, you should be having it all the time. And now I'm kind of like, whatever works for you. And maybe it is no one else's business. And the idea that that bond would be shared with people outside. And as you say, Em, they see him, they see you, and they're imagining what they told you with all the details. I don't like the idea of that.
Agreed. There's a problem though with this, right? So I'm the same. I never do. I never will. But I think there is a problem with the fact that the only sex that gets discussed is from a very particular cohort. Because to your point about comparison, Jessie, being corrosive, yes, but also the fact that no one talks about what sex looks like in a long-term relationship, particularly over a long period of time. And as you age and as you go through different life stages and all those things, like the fact that no one talks about that leaves this massive gap of expectation that we all think we're doing it wrong, right? So if you're not ever talking about it, then in your mind, everyone else is doing it more than you. Everyone else is happier than you. Everybody else is more fulfilled and doing more exciting things. And I think that there is still, even when you're quite old, quite grown up, as I would say, we still have this kind of cool girl, and maybe this is generational, I don't know, this kind of cool girl doctrine in us somewhere that like we should all want sex all the time, otherwise our relationships aren't healthy. We should all be having sex all the time, otherwise our relationships aren't healthy. Or on the flip side of that, if you're not having sex, and some couples, and this is what I mean about the fact no one talks about it, some long-term couples don't have sex for years, then you should definitely be getting divorced, like putting hardcore rules around relationships. So it's kind of interesting because it's like, no, I don't want to talk about it. No, it's not very sexy somehow. But the problem with it is we only talk about and shine a spotlight on one kind of sex. And so nobody talks about how your libido changes as you get older. No one talks about what happens to male libido as you get older. And look, that also is a real thing. We just stick with this one view of sex that we all did talk about when we were in our 20s, which was all the time, love it, the dirtier the better, the more the better. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. So it's like we're not allowing ourselves to evolve.
Do you reckon too that you get to a stage where you think, I don't want to be seen as sexual by people I'm not having sex with, or by people I don't ever want to have sex with? There was this thing when we were young. Like I remember you never talk about sex as much as when you're not having it because you're too young, right? Like you would sit there as teenagers and the details you would pour over about this kiss or this like really early, you would talk and talk and talk. And it's because you're experimenting and you're working out who you are and whether you're a sexual person, all that kind of stuff. And then you kind of go, it's like a tap that's turned on with some people and turned off with others. And so the idea, it would be akin sitting down with my friends now and talking about the step-by-step ins and outs of my sex life would feel like sitting down with my mum and doing it. Because they don't see me as a sexual person and I don't want them to see me as a sexual person.
But don't you think, like, this is one of the things that's really confusing about getting older and about long relationships changing. It's like, if you're 25 and you're pretty confident that I am a sexual person. I mean, what does that even mean?
Yeah.
I don't know. But we could probably all point to people in our lives or ourselves at different times and go, very sexual person.
Yeah. Yeah.
People on reality TV.
Yes.
Very sexual person, right?
I think everyone on reality TV.
Then if that person gets to 40-ish or whatever, and like that part of them has shifted, like, I don't know, I think it really messes with your identity.
Is it
And
not
the
just
fact you're not allowed to discuss it messes with your identity more.
I think it's just also just out of like curiosity and interest, because if you're talking about your sex life and you're in a relationship, I don't just know you, I also know the person that you're having sex with.
And it's a respect thing.
It's a respect thing. Whereas if I'm talking about my sex life, you'll just always know him as the crier or the strong man or like that.
Yeah.
And
like he's
you'll
a
never
Sex and
see
the
him.
City character.
Yeah,
the
exactly.
Guy, the bum guy, the this guy, the that,
And I think it's just really interesting because when and I'm talking about like heterosexual relationships mainly, firstly, women talk about like the details of sex way more than men do.
Do you think?
Yes.
I went deep on a
Yes.
Reddit thread that said exactly this, that women assume that their male partners are talking about sex, but that in fact men talk about it way less than women do.
Even men who are dating casually, they're like, yeah, it was good.
Yeah,
And then he did this, and then my leg went there, and then his head went there.
Can I ask actually, Em, are you at all interested in married sex? Be honest.
Your friends who are in long-term relationships, do you wish they were talking to you about their sex lives?
Or do you find it so boring?
It's not boring. It's just that I feel like because my married friends, because I know their partner, I feel like I need to get some sense of consent from their partner to also be taught, like listening in on this conversation.
And ultimately, when you don't know that person, you don't care whether you violate their privacy or not. But when
you'll never see them again. But if I'm feeling like I'm going to be in a relationship with a person, I stay so quiet about my sex life. Because I'm like, that could be a person in all of our lives.
Yeah, we're going to go away on holiday together. And
you need that like Men in Black memory eraser where you kind of like, because now we've got serious. So all the things I told you about how this guy likes it when I just forget I ever said that. You know, when you find out a lot about married people's sex lives is when they split up.
Really?
Because when people split up and they may have been together for a long time, you will often find out that sex was a big deal, because sex is still a very big deal, whether it's the absence of it or the regularity of it or that somebody isn't feeling a certain way is still a massive issue in lots of relationships. And the fact that it's a bit taboo to talk about it with other people can just pour shame on it more. And so often when your friends split up, you'll suddenly, oh, really? He only wanted to do that, or you hadn't done that for this long, or like they'll share then, but everybody else just kind of nods as if like, I wouldn't know anything about that.
Oh, we're completely normal. It's like, what does normal mean? No comment.
So rituals have been having a moment, particularly right now. I feel like everyone wants to develop healthy habits, get into patterns, be like the best versions of themselves they can be. And there are 2 new rituals I've seen mainly on TikTok that are making the rounds, and I need to bring them up because they both made me quite sad. So the first one comes from Becca Bloom. Do we remember Becca Bloom?
My new friend. You lot introduced me to her when she was having the most ridiculous wedding ever.
Yeah, we went to her wedding. Yes.
We all went to her wedding in Italy where there were some multicolored fireworks. There were like 14 different dresses. She is the billionaire who we're all supposed to like.
Yes. Yeah. She started the loud luxury trend where she was like, I have a lot of money. Here's what it looks like.
Yeah.
And we were all obsessed with her. So she recently posted a TikTok with her husband where they listed 5 controversial rules in their relationship. Their words, not mine. And that included him paying for everything.
I don't believe that for a minute. Is he also like, has anyone checked his bag for the Louvre jewels? I mean, like, come on.
I think he was also reading a script because there was a pause and then he goes, but that's the bare minimum. I was like, yes, it is, sir. They don't talk negatively about each other in public, which I kind of am on board with that.
That's a good rule.
Yeah. It's very chalant of him. And the most controversial being that he spends an hour a week showering her in compliments.
I don't say anything controversial about this. I quite like
The
it.
compliment hour.
Yeah, she says, I love my compliment hour. Mike, so I don't think it's returned.
Babe,
I think it's just him to her.
Jessie, you're amazing and everything, but do you really think that someone could spend a whole hour on compliment content?
Yeah.
Firstly, do you want to hear Luca talk for an hour?
No, not really. Maybe 8 minutes. I could do with an 8-minute kind of like
Once a
quick
week?
fire compliment round. The rule is they can't be the same compliments as last week. They've got to be
Oh
creative.
my God. You'd have to keep the notes app going on your phone, wouldn't you? Every time your partner did anything even vaguely not awful, you'd have to put it in your phone so you could just be like, and the way you wipe the bench top.
I quite like an on-demand compliment. I think that's actually quite nice.
So you go, I'm feeling a bit blah, tell me something nice about me.
Well, I already do that, and he says I don't do compliments on demand, which is why I think that this kind of written into the schedule.
Because he loves a routine.
He does love a routine.
But
exactly
if you frame
right.
it like that.
Is this being loved loudly? We've been talking about that a lot lately.
This is so cringe.
Oh, cringe.
Unless you're doing my compliment hour in public with other people, so other people
true.
can hear it.
That's even more cringe, isn't it?
Well, I don't think so. I think it's quite nice. So other people know how good of a person I am.
You're so clever. You're so smart. Oh my God, kill me.
Just drag on the words so it gets to the hour mark.
Interpretive dance, a whole hour. No.
Is your love language words of affirmation?
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That's fine then. You're allowed. You're allowed
all I
compliment
want.
hour.
Acts of service.
Mine's gift giving.
Like Becca. Hers is gift giving. He said he has to give her a gift every week. And I'm like, her standards be high.
Yeah, they'll be really high.
I'm just like, do something for me. This week I've had this sore foot. And so I was in I recorded Monday's show from the shed at the bottom of the garden. And every time I'd get up to get a cup of tea or whatever, it was like, ouch and a pain. And I was just rage texting him like, you are not looking after me enough. I'm just a monster. I'm so sorry, babe. Anyway.
Okay. Actually, that kind of works into my next ritual. It's called the rage ritual. So it's a wellness trend that involves channeling deep anger and suppressed emotions and releasing them through screaming or physically hitting things. So it starts off in a meditative state and you have to go deep. You have to think about everything that makes you angry and you have to go from like childhood till present and then you release it. So it's been recommended on TikTok that it's best done in a safe manner in a private space outside where you can use a stick and safely hit it on the ground. I know what you're thinking though, like some of us don't have access to the outdoors like myself. But there's intuitive advisor, her name is Mia Magic. She suggests
Mia Magic. Come on, what else has she got to tell us?
Pushing against a wall while saying, "Get away from me."
That is so inner city.
The thing is about that.
Imagine my neighbours.
It's very unsatisfying. The wall
doesn't move.
Going anywhere.
You're moving yourself. So I feel like you're taking the anger back. It's rebounding off the wall and going back into you. I'm a big fan of screaming into a pillow.
Yeah, or getting into the car, turning up the music and just swearing in like a private environment. I also find finding someone to blame. They don't have to have anything to do with the rage. And sending a long-winded 200, 300-word text message about their character flaws can really help with rage. I was on the receiving end of this on the weekend. Claire was raging about something not to do with me. She just picked up the phone, yelled at me for like 5 minutes. Luca just looked at me and was like, what was that about? And I was like, I don't know. She was just really angry and it was like trying to make it all my fault. But I think that it helped to get it all out.
That's so nice.
You know, there's also, you know how a while ago Amelia recommended on the show laughing yoga?
Yeah.
Because there's also screaming yoga where you can go, and which seems very much more now than laughing yoga in some ways, where you can go and do your downward dogging and stuff, and then you all just like yell really loudly. You know, I can
What if you think you just booked yourself into a normal yoga class?
And you'd just be like, oh, I can see very much how this helps because speaking as a repressed person, I can't help it. On the rare occasions when I scream and shout, it's very rare, it feels fucking great. And it makes me go, oh, this is all those angry people who are always going around yelling. They're not messed up. They're completely sanguine inside.
Have you ever gone into a toilet cubicle and just opened your mouth and gone,
oh yeah,
but no sound comes out?
Yeah.
What?
Silent screaming.
The silent scream. You go, even in the shower, and you do a silent scream and you go, but no.
I also like aggressive sing-alongs in the car. Like, you know, you were saying get into and swear, put a really angry song
Alanis
on
Morissette,
and just be like, you know, that's why some of those angry songs are really good. Just scream along with that. And what do you call those rooms where you can smack things around?
I've always wanted to go to one of those.
Smash rooms?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Is that what they're called?
Yeah.
Where there's like crockery and things and you can take a bat. Apparently they are really popular with adolescent boys and middle-aged women. Those are the two categories. The same
Like
groups
cottage
of people.
cheese?
I was going to say
protein, the protein
same group of people who are taking creatine. They are also smashing shit up on the regular.
The unsung heroes. The duo we didn't know we needed.
Oh my God, this is why it's tricky being the middle-aged mother of a teenage son. But yes,
You want to go to a smash room, Billy?
exactly, together. I love it.
It's Friday, so we're going to set up your weekend with our best recommendations. And I'm going to go first because this one I have been desperate to tell you about. I reckon this is top 3 recos of the year.
Oh,
yeah.
big call.
Because I read a series when I was away recently and I could not wait to come back and tell you all about them. There is an author named John Boyne and he wrote The Boy in the Striped Pajamas and there's a sequel to The Boy in the Striped Pajamas. It is as good, if not better. And he has written this new series, which I kept hearing about. It is called The Elements and it is a quartet of novellas.
Ooh.
Which that sounds very clever if you say.
Does novella mean tiny book?
Yes. It means short
It's
book.
like a novel, but cute.
Yeah,
yes.
got it.
And the thing with, I can find novellas a little bit unsatisfying
Same.
sometimes. I just kind of go, oh, you didn't really get there for me. This is it's a full book. It's just a little bit shorter, maybe. I barely even noticed. But each book is a self-contained story, but they're interconnected. So the first one is, they're called like Water, Fire, Earth, Wind, I think. So
They are the
air,
elements.
air.
They
yes,
are the
that's
elements.
the other one. They are the elements. Yes, that's the
we,
one.
we watched Avatar.
Yes. And Captain Planet. The first one, Water, is about this woman who escapes to a tiny Irish village and you don't know what she's escaping from, but she's in like self-proclaimed exile. And it unfolds that her husband is guilty of unimaginable crimes and it's a question of her culpability and what she has to answer for. And then the second one is about a young footballer. It is from his perspective and he is on trial because he filmed his footballer mate having sex with a woman who says it was not consensual, like that it was rape. And it's from his perspective. So it's really, really interesting. The third one, even like, you know, more incredible. But the way that John Boyne writes men, women, heroes, villains, all different ages, lifespans is just, he's got to be one of the most masterful writers writing at the moment. And a lot of the themes I thought were actually similar to your book, Holly. That's why when I was away, I was like, Holly has to read these. She will love them. They are rated so highly everywhere, reviewed really well.
They sound great.
So good. And I got through all 4 while I was away. Like they are brilliant. So they are called The Elements, but you start with Water and then you go on to the other 3.
Can I ask you a question? Did you read literal books or digital books?
I did it on my Kindle.
Yes.
And so it told me what the next one was.
That's quite good, isn't it?
And that actually brings me to I have a Kindle gripe.
Oh.
Which is, it doesn't tell the world what you're reading. And when I was at the pool, I was I always look at what people are reading. It's the best advertising. I often strike up a conversation and say, I love that book or whatever. I worry about Kindles and what they're doing to the book world.
You know what they should do? The back of your Kindle.
It needs to show the cover. It needs to show the cover because I want to signal to the world that I'm reading this brilliant book.
Although sometimes it's good that you don't know because
Yeah.
sometimes you feel like you should put your book that you're really loving inside, you know, Anna Karenina or something.
Yes.
Like something really intelligent because you're like, I'm just reading about fairies getting it on.
That's what I was
and
thinking.
you all are judging me. Not that there's anything wrong with that. But you're right, Jessie. It is a missed marketing opportunity.
It is. It makes me sad that I can't see through your Kindle and see what you're reading.
Maybe
So-
just every 5 minutes yell out the title.
Yeah.
Just so people know.
Holly, what have you got for us?
Mine's writing related, actually, because do you listen to music when you're writing? Either of you?
Only
Working?
white noise.
No, sometimes I try to get into like Mozart because I heard that's meant to be good. Distracting.
It's interesting because I've always been a silence person. But lately, I've been struggling with focus, like always. Like that's just an ongoing life thing, right? And lots of people said to me that one of the real advantages to listening to music when you're writing is it can be one of those signals that you need to give yourself. Like, I think we were talking about this on the show a while ago. Like, you light a candle, I'm writing. I'm turning my phone off and putting it in the other room, I'm writing. Like a signal that you give yourself. So I was like, that sounds clever. If I'm going to give myself a 40-minute window to get some words down, the idea that the music is on and this kind of music is on and it will stop when it's done is smart. So I started looking at writing playlists on Spotify, and there are loads. And there are two I want to recommend and it's just not just about writing. This is also studying, any kind of focus.
Deep work.
Often at work, I've just got to put some headphones in so I can concentrate, so I can do it then at work.
One of them is called Creative Writing No Words, because no words is important to me. It's not for everybody. I know some people who can happily write with lyrics, but I can't.
No, I can't. No lyrics, no lyrics.
I start writing the lyrics.
Well, and also the minute the lyrics are there, I'm listening to the lyrics.
Yeah, I agree.
Although I always explain to my kids that there are two types of songs. There are story songs, and that's a nice noise song. And so you could listen to That's a Nice Noise song, I guess. But anyway,
no,
I
need lyric free.
Yeah.
We pass your desk and you're just jamming out.
Just like, Creative Writing No Words, Inspo Music by Katie Beth Brierly Bogan. Really good. But my favourite is by Zoe Foster Blake. And
she has the best
It is
playlist.
really irritating that Zoe Foster Blake is so good at so many things.
Yeah.
But her playlists are really good.
Her breakup playlist, oh my God.
Yeah.
She has a
Honestly.
running playlist. I mean,
got
I've
a
never run.
Kids playlist. Like, I have a sneaking suspicion that this must be her procrastination hobby, like making playlists, because they're very good. But her one that's called Music for Writing, Study, Flow and Focus is the one I've probably been using most regularly.
Nice.
And it's really good and it's really long. So I just stop and start it as I need to, and it rarely repeats, which is good because the thing about sound is sometimes it gets you in a rut when you're writing and you're like, oh, when that song was playing, I was having a really bad time trying to solve this problem. So you kind of need fresh things all the time. Very little lyrics, a little bit of light lyrics, but I highly recommend. And also Out Louders, if you've got recommendations for excellent focus writing, studying playlists, we want to hear them because I reckon it's game changing. I reckon it's really helped me.
Oh.
How about you, Em?
Okay, I wanted to recommend a show on Disney Plus that I feel like has flown quite under the radar because it is quite basic. And I'm starting off by saying that because I got a bit of trouble from Out Louders after my House of Dynamite.
I watched it.
Did you like
on
it?
your recommendation? Did I like it? We need to sit down and discuss the ending.
Everyone's talking about the ending.
Yeah.
So no spoilers because I haven't
No
watched it yet,
spoilers, but we
a
need to
lot
talk
of
about
discussion about the ending.
Yeah, a lot of, I should have disclosed that, but I didn't. And
That's okay.
people got mad, but it's fine. I loved it. Sorry. So I'm starting off with saying this is a basic recommendation. It is a show called Chad Powers, and it is created and stars Glen Powell.
I adore Glen Powell. If you haven't read the new profile of Glen Powell by Marina Hyde,
It's
in
good.
The Guardian, go read
Yeah.
it. It is genius. Anyway.
So he plays, it's very much like Ted Lasso, just in the NFL, in footy in America. So he plays this big NFL star named Russ Holiday, super egotistical, super assholey. No one likes him. He has kind of a bit of a fall from grace, like something really big happens and everyone's like, oh, you can't come back from this. And then he kind of feels sorry for himself. He really misses football. So he develops this alter ego and he puts on this prosthetics, kind of like She's the Man vibes.
Yeah.
That's why his nose looks funny on the stills.
And he creates this alter ego named Chad Powers and tries out for the NFL again and gets into another team. And his Chad Powers personality is so different from his real personality, Russ Holiday. And the whole series, it's really, really funny, very sporty. And the first season has just finished. And when I first started it, I was like, oh, this is just Ted Lasso, but in like a boring way. And it gets better and better and better. And it's just really fun. It's like one that you can watch with, I mean, there's swear words and stuff, but it just feels like very nice. Like I haven't watched anything that's just really like pleasant to watch in a long time.
So every streaming service is trying to replicate Ted Lasso.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
Is it? So it's a series. It's not a movie.
It's a series. It's only 6 episodes in the first season.
I feel like they've made a mistake in making Glen Powell ugly in these pictures in this series because don't we watch him because he's not ugly? Not that he's ugly. That sounds harsh. But
But
you
a
know what I mean?
prosthetic.
They've
Yeah.
deliberately
He doesn't
made
look
him
like
not
Glen
look like
Powell.
Glen Powell.
When
And
that's the part you like.
And that's the thing I like about Glen Powell is how he looks like Glen Powell.
I know, but like this is the first series where I watched Glen Powell and I was like, whoa, you're a good actor.
Oh, he's a great actor.
Didn't realize that
There's a
from
movie
Top Gun, didn't realize
called-
that from the other one.
This is not going to be helpful because I'm going to forget the movie, but the movie itself is a bit problematic, but he is such a good actor and he plays this kind of con man. And
Oh,
he's-
Hitman.
Yes. There's some things in that movie that I'm not
Yeah.
into, but he's amazing in it. And he's like, it's like he's trying so hard to be the next Tom Cruise. I find
Because
it
he went to the
endearing,
Tom
even though
Scro-
Tom Cruise is not endearing.
Because he went to a school of acting.
Yeah. And
So he has to be the next Tom Cruise.
and he very much like, he calls up all the movie stars and he's like, tell me how to be. I just think he's great. And he's got a hot sauce line. This is my perfect man.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
I digress. Okay. So it's on Disney Plus.
Disney
Chad
Plus,
Powers.
Chad Powers. It's really good, but don't take that. Don't be mad if you
Don't
don't
come
like
at
it.
Judge me.
Please.
Don't judge me. Out Louders, a massive thank you for being here with us, with Jessie, her twins, and I, as we've got through
The five
this
of
week.
us.
Just the five of us. We can make anyway. Shut up, Holly. Thank you to all our Out Louders and to our team. Don't forget, we're on YouTube. Tell them about. Look, I don't want to objectify Em in any way.
You just pointed at my
I just pointed at Em's but that's because I don't want to objectify him in any way. But on Monday's show,
It moved me.
Yeah, Amelia, Jessie, and I had a big conversation about something that changed your outfit. Tell me.
Yes, I'm going braless for the foreseeable future.
Can I ask what cup size you are? This is important.
I'm a C.
This is
Yeah.
very private. Why are you asking that question?
Because as we said, A cup girlies have always been able to go braless.
Yes.
But I think between a B and a C is where we have been socialized to believe we must put them in bras.
Exactly.
And I really appreciate that you've got them out
And
today.
earlier this year was the first time I never really paid attention to my boobs. Earlier this year was the first time I looked in the mirror and I was like, they've changed a little bit. And I was like, no, I'm just going to show them off.
Yes,
like, come on.
just like Sydney Sweeney.
Yes.
This is interesting.
My inspo,
So our
Sydney
Sydney Sweeney chat really helped you. I like that.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So if you're watching on YouTube, you're welcome.
exactly. Join us. Friends, read us out.
A big thank you to our team, our group executive producer, Ruth Devine, executive producer, Sasha Tanik.
Our senior audio producer is Leah Porges. Our video producer is Josh Green. And our junior content producer is Tessa.
Bye.